Hey everyone, this is Adam and welcome to the KreatureKid channel and the making of the dead Arnuki Beast. This is an awesome project. This was brought to us by Chris Collins as a birthday present for her husband, Caleb Phelps.
I told them that we're married.
You what? This was a very weird, kind of out there one. Because this is from the first live-action Scooby-Doo movie in 2002. And it's just recreation of a prop from the movie. There's no examples of this prop, like it's not like a prop that's been floating around or anything. So the only reference is just the two brief moments that you see this thing in the movie. So we're going to talk about kind of how we went about making it, constructing it, building it to also be like a fine art piece so it would like last a long time under a crazy tight deadline. So when starting this piece, obviously it starts with a digital sculpture. We go to multiple different digital sculptors. I do some sculpting. We hire out here and there. This one we took to Andrew Martin. Andrew Martin's a wonderful sculptor. He did the incredible Dale, our animatronic fortune teller for Meat Canyon.
I am Dale, the Magnificent.
So for this, obviously we just have the couple stills we're going off of, just freeze frames of that scene. And Andrew did an incredible job recreating the character and just the details and the band on his head and stuff. This, we obviously knew we were doing real hair, so he kind of keyed it in a way to where doll hair could be attached. So once Andrew's done with the finished sculpture, he sends it back to us, and then we start diving into what's going to be 3D printed, what do we have to make a mold for, meaning what are the hard components of this piece, what are the soft components of this piece. Now if you watch the clip, he holds up the dead Arnuki Beast by the hair, and he shakes it, so obviously it's a jiggly body. The head was so intricate, and like the inner mouth and the teeth, we really wanted to opt for a hard head, so that was printed on our Jupiter SE from Illigu, a great large format resin printer. So printing it on this large format printer captured all the details, had the hole where we would string rope from the torso, and it just had a beautiful resolution for a finished resin product. The torso and the limbs, definitely we wanted to be rubber. We 3D printed just quickie block molds, and we opted for running these out of silicone. This is a platinum silicone, so it is more of the like high-end library shelf. This stuff won't fall apart for a long time. And then his little limbs are just solid silicone. Run everything in our kind of grayish color, torso being filled with polyfoam from Smooth On, as well as inserting a rope through the torso out the head, which we could then essentially string the head down and then mount the rope into the hair, so everything's kind of like strung together essentially, not trying to bind a silicone torso to a hard, rigid head. The dead Arnuki Beast's fingernails are all resin printed on our Jupiter SE as well. All of those are individually printed and painted resin parts that are then glued into the fingers using silpoxy. Now, once we have our finished cast silicone torso and all of our individual limbs, we went ahead and painted everything first before assembling it, just because a lot of the legs, they all kind of like overlap on each other. Mariah Keirns here painted all the legs individually, painted the torso, and then glued everything together and then patched it all using silpoxy. Once the body and the arms are all finished and painted and matte coated, we string on our resin painted head. Now the resin head was painted with just acrylics and then clear coated with an automotive clear coat and then matte finished, so it's pretty resistant to scratches. Then we get into doing the hair. I usually find all my hairs just stocking up when I find them at the thrift store during Halloween. So fortunately, we already had a wig that was pretty much the hair color to the Arnuki Beast. It's kind of like, it's almost like a red hair. We start cutting up that wig and taking the kind of rows of hair. And then with this, we're just super gluing it onto the resin head and hiding the seam line of when the hair goes up and when the hair goes down behind that 3D printed band on the back of his head. And then we style it. You know, we kind of tangle it up and curl it and try to get it to match the movie as close as possible. Once the hair is done and the head's fully painted, we string in our silicone body that's sitting there done with our rope going all the way in. The rope is also what's looped and how the Arnuki Beast is hanging from the base. And then we just used a little silpoxy to just bind the rope inside the resin head, not worrying about a seam line or anything. The head is so large and the neck hole is so skinny that the neck is just such a vague, weird area that you'll never see it. With a combination of the 3D printed components and the solid silicone components, when you pick this dead Arnuki Beast up and shake it, its body just moves as naturally as it does in the movie. The base we digitally sculpted, I really wanted it to be just kind of like a vibe of Spooky Island with the kind of the sand and the planks of wood and kind of the interesting colors. And then we matched like the big tusks on the pier going up to Spooky Island, so it's kind of reminiscent of a piece from Spooky Island. So the base was 3D printed out of filament, and then we did a block silicone mold. We cast the base out of 1630, which is a kind of stone mixture resin that's just like really hard and crazy heavy. It's a great heavy weighted finish that we wanted for supporting this thing. We didn't want anything rocking or rolling, so we wanted it to be a crazy sturdy base. And then our tusks that mount on the base were just printed also on the Jupiter SE. So those are just painted 3D prints that we just glued onto the 1630 resin base. And then, of course, you know, you felt the bottom, you drill a hole. We just use actual bamboo for the post, just bamboo, and you're just kind of drilling holes and using twine to decorate and hide glue areas. Hanging the dead Arnuki Beast on there, you got a beautiful display piece that you can pick up and shake your Arnuki Beast and then mount and display on a shelf. I'm really happy with how this piece came out. And it was a crazy tight deadline, so we were working like crazy. I think only 2 weeks is what it took to build this thing. And then to package this character, we really wanted it to be kind of like an experience. We've done a few experience pieces where we ship stuff out and it's like opening a treasure essentially. So we really wanted it to be like an unknown when opening this present. So we had built a really nice wood crate. We did Spooky Island stencils with the logo. And we even included a letter from Voodoo Maestro that's like handwritten, dated in 2002, like shortly after the plot of the movie has wrapped. And then we put this Spooky Island crate inside of a box full of like hemp and stuff. It's like receiving a lost package from Spooky Island from 20 something years ago. That's one of the fun parts of making kind of the fine art pieces, is just also making it an experience for a client as opposed to just like wrapping it in bubble wrap and throwing it in a box, right? Please leave any comments or questions down below and we'll get back to you about materials or how we went about doing the steps. And thank you guys for watching.